take on the darkness, stare down deceit. Murder in the headlines, justice in the beat. From cold case whispers to killers in disguise, we rip off the mask, expose all the lies. Facts like bullets reload and deliver. Truth cuts deep like a blade in a river. Corruption shakes when the mic goes live. We dig where others won't survive. Games rolling through the smoke. Truth hits hard, no time for a joke. Deceit, murder, we name every name. No restraint, no shame, just flame. Locked on the case, we investigate.
This is 12 Gauge Investigative. Let's jump in.
You'll ever need 12 Gauge Investigate. We make them bleed. No games, no censors, just truth. Justice is loud, and we're the sound. This is 12 Gauge Investigative.
All right. Happy Monday night to everyone. My name is 12 Gauge, and this is my channel, 12 Gauge Investigative. If you're new to my channel, thank you for showing up and giving my channel your time and your support. You know, this case right here with Jeffrey Epstein, I've heard countless different scenarios about it. But one thing I've never done is deep dive into it. And I heard somebody talking about it on TikTok, and I thought, what the hell? Let's see exactly what's in these documents. Let's see exactly what we can see in the Epstein library. And let's see what the first one is. Looks like some kind of diary. I guess you can't scroll like you normally could when you're trying to do other things, but it looks like it has a bunch of names in it. It says Wednesday, July 31st, 2019. Ismail on ATV. I really can't read a lot of it. It says Wednesday, July 31st, 2019. Inspection of the LSJ, all in order. Inspection of the dock area, all in order. Inspection. So this looks like a kind of like a log inspecting something. So let's see what the next one is. This looks like police information. Like I said, I haven't looked at these, so I don't know what's all in them. But I've heard about this case a lot. And I thought, let's look at some of the photos. Let's see what they have, actually. Because I heard he was tied to a lot of trafficking, possibly a lot of illegal stuff going on. And I heard very briefly that he got a lot of his money by conning people out of their money. So if you've ever followed this case, you know more about this than I do. If I can just quit clicking on the same one. That's what it is about these things right here. You click on something and it's like, what did I just click in? So this obviously is a photo on his island, possibly. I posted one earlier about um, his airplane that somebody did on TikTok. This is a photo of somebody posing, it looks like. You can see the arm right here, the legs, and they got their face blurred out. Obviously, that's somebody else posing with their face blurred out. And there's somebody in that photo, I'm sure. Looks like a picture of some sort. Let's see what the next one's. And there is somebody with a young woman in a bikini. This looks like a bedspread looking thing with just kind of curled up. These looks like all photos, and these are the backs of them. So I'm not really going to show the backs of these photos, but it's interesting nonetheless. Some of the stuff that is blurred out. That looks like a boat of some sort or kayak. That is a photo of obviously somebody that was on island. Obviously somebody coming out of the water had their face blurred out. Just like everything else that you see regarding evidence to protect the innocent, a lot of times the images are blurred out or blacked out. But it gives you a little bit of an insight as to what that kind of environment looked like. When these pictures were taken. It's kind of creepy, actually. Old photos are creepy, anyways. That looks like a bathtub of some sort. There's somebody in there. I heard earlier that he was supposed to be suspected of favoring underage men, boys, and women. Obviously, there's somebody in a bikini. A lot of this is redacted. Let's go back to the next page. And this is quite interesting. Obviously, there is Epstein with somebody else and somebody else. Since they are adults, their faces are not blurred out, but obviously, this is an underage person or somebody of high caliber. Sorry about that. I clicked on the wrong back button. here we go. Obviously, they wanted to protect whoever that was in that photo. And these are adults. So obviously, they don't have to have their identities protected. And they're at the inside of the residence, I guess, of one of the rooms. And as you can see, there's clouds painted on the ceiling, which is pretty interesting, I think. Old decor. Does nobody want to come in and see these photos, but I'm sure they'll be nosy and see them later. But look at that marble floor. Obviously, there's a computer back there. Looks like a magnifying glass with some other stuff down on that table. I bet that this was Idaho, boy, this room would be about it. I need to download all these all at once. Okay, you've seen this room more than once. Let's move on. This obviously is the weight room. As you can see, there's a statue, some kind of old school weight machines. Okay, 12. There's a wave runner. Got some stuff on that island, boy, to be way in the middle of nowhere. That obviously is like a clothing closet or something. I saw some of the stuff on the TikTok persons, and they got some juicy photos. So, I mean, this is the beginning stuff, so be patient. We will get there. As you can see, that's a Jeffrey E. Epstein. It has 41505, a bunch of scribbles. And just like any kind of investigation, okay, Jesus, just like in any investigation, every little thing is photographed. Every little thing has its own number. This is a plane ticket of some sort. A baggage claim. And you ask yourself, why would the police photograph every little thing? Well, when you're doing an investigation, you just never know if any of this stuff later on is going to mean anything. Like these prices, or just a time, 11:36, 10, all day. Like, what does that mean? Is that like setting up something? You know what I mean? Like, this could be anything that could have tied him to the case that he was tried for. Blank would like to speak to you. JE 10105, 10:15 a.m. All these are call records. Call records. Like this has his initial, Jeffrey Epstein, right? He is out of town. He will be back on Thursday. Is asking if you want a Swedish guy. And that's interesting right there, right? If you want a Swedish guy. Clothes and dryer. Floor stencils. Packed magazines. Can't come today. She can, Katie. $750 per hour. Something about a minivan. Like I said, whenever you're investigating a crime, just like in any other crime that we've talked about, I'm sure there's multitudes of photos that have been taken, and some of them are relevant, and some of them have nothing to do with nothing. But you have to still take a picture or video of everything you find. They don't have it in stock. 10 to 12-week wait. Manager will be in town, so you can call her in the morning and see if they will give us the one from the floor. P.S. I gave them shipping address. Very, very interesting. Let's see if I remember the number I'm at. So let's see. I think I'm right here at 75, maybe. Good job, 12. This is just another blurry picture of a workshop-looking thing. 53. And just a statue. Candlestick. Let me see if there's anything in here that we could find as it looks like a photo of some small child right there. It looks like some kind of vitamin bottles. Who knows what these little things are? And here's another photo. I wonder what that's a photo of. Looks like it's Mr. Epstein with somebody else and somebody else in the background. And see how they blurred that out. I wonder what this photo is. That looks like Mr. Epstein with a young girl. That's what I thought I saw. No telling who that young child is. Pedophile Island. 53. Let's go to the next page. 30. So this is a lot of times individuals, when they're painting their houses, I would suggest that they believe that they're on top of the world. So looking down on the clouds that you saw in that other room might symbolize something. Oh, 12 gauge. Okay. 85. No telling who this woman is because she's obviously been in another photo that we saw earlier. And it looks like a puppet of some sort. Looks like her pants are wet for whatever reason. No telling what went on at this place. No telling what went on at this place. This is 85, 94. What the hell is that? Hmm. The last time I did this was going through Koberger's apartment, which you expect to see a lot of incriminating stuff, but it seemed like that apartment was a lot more clean than this. That is Maxwell, I think. Okay, thank you, PKC. I have not followed along at all on this case, so I'm clueless. I'm just kind of looking at the photo to see exactly what I can see. '74. See, it makes you wonder what this looks like a jockey helmet, possibly. Don't really see anything out of the ordinary. It just looks like a photocopy out of a book. Massage roadmap. Oh, this is like seems like a very erotic massage book. Says that the art of receiving a massage. Massage is about making you feel comfortable in your own skin. The last thing you wanted to have a language barrier make you feel uncomfortable before you even begin. Words you don't know can make you feel like an outsider. So this is kind of like a masseuse book. And this one is very interesting because it says you walk into a health club and sign up for a massage. A big burly builder of a man walks out, shakes your hand in his massive pew, and tells you his name is John. Nice to meet you, you say, slightly Swede. How long have you been a masseuse? I'm not a masseuse, he thunders, causing you to shake in your sneakers. And once again, you have that terrible realization that you flubbed up the whole monsieur thing. Okay, so it gives you like examples. Wow. I hear there's massage tables and massage rooms in these photos. So this must be part of how to learn to be a massage therapist. Because that's what this looks like. That's exactly what this looks like. It's like a how to be a masseuse in a pedophile world 2004. Let's see what '04 is. Looks like some massage tables right here. Or maybe these are doors, but I've seen those folding massage tables before. Maybe I'm wrong. 40. So let's go back. '72. Adult Video Warehouse Manager. Adult Video Warehouse 42507. $213.96 worth of novelty gifts. Wow. See, if we had the chance to see a lot of this stuff and some of the other crimes that we talk about, these receipts are important because they're able to be like a calling card because it tells you where the adult warehouse is, the address, it tells you the date, the time, the employee, the inventory, the store number, and sometimes it tells you the Visa or MasterCard number at the bottom, at least the last 4 digits. And here's one that says, I think this is his application to get a video club card at this warehouse. 122005 Jeff Epstein, 575 Meadowview, California, Mount Clair, Pennsylvania, 19452, 610, 250, 2566. And there's his signature. Remember when we used to have to get video cards? We used to have to fill out an application. And there's another receipt. Another receipt. So if he was buying novelty gifts, what would he do with these novelty gifts? You get what I'm saying? What was he doing with these novelty gifts? This says Wolf Camera. Let's see what this says. It says, oh, I've read some of these court documents today. Good grief. Certification regarding domestic records or regularly conducted activity. I, the undersigned blank, declare that I'm employed by Rich Camera, Inc., ABA, Corporate Counsel, Wolf Camera, in this position of corporate counsel, and by reason of my position, and authorized and qualified to make this declaration. Through my employment with Wolf Camera, I'm familiar with business records it maintains. I certify that the records attached to this certification were made at or near the time of occurrence of the matter set forth therein by or for information transmitted by a person with knowledge of these matters. They were kept in the course of regularly conducted business activity and were made by regularly conducted activity as a regular practice. Among the records so maintained are the attached records itemized in Appendix A. I further certify that the documents attached here therein are responsive to the grand jury subpoena served upon Wolf Camera. And this was executed on 21st day of September 2007. So this is also what was submitted. A copy of the transaction receipt 21405, copy of frequent photo customer database 7806 transactions. And there is the receipt. So whenever you're looking at evidence and you're looking for things to fit together to build a case, these are some of the things that you look for because they're very specific. And like I said, this tells you a lot of information starting with the date 2/14/2005, the zip code, the amount, the cardholder's information, the signature, and the associate name. Was he dropping off photos of compromising things that maybe he shouldn't have been dropping off? Like I said, I don't know this case enough to really talk about it in detail, but you bet your ass I'm going to get on it. If you know what these are, you know what these are. If you've ever been to a novelty store, twin torpedoes are basically novelty toys. And it looks like these are for pleasure purposes. Separate vibrating control, control your own fantasy, and explore the different levels of erotic vibrations. Well, there you go. No more further explanation needed, right? 48. Okay, off to the next. Page 4. Evidence by the Federal Bureau of Evidence, by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI. It says all documents and photographs and clothes have been digitized. Negatives and our media have not been captured. Item was not scanned. This was a VHS. So this was a VHS tape. You remember those Maxwell tapes like that? There's the number. Chain of custody number. I love this for nothing more than to show you different evidence in another case where you can actually see how they itemize these things, how they mark them. Because back then, this is the best that they had. Obviously, it's different nowadays, but it's pretty much the same. You give things labels, you give them numbers. The numbers tell you what it belongs to. And this is a VHS tape. No telling what was on this tape or who. Let me know in the chat if you're enjoying this. I know a lot of this probably doesn't make sense to you if you've never followed the case, but nonetheless, it's interesting because I've never followed the case and I'm seeing stuff for the first time. And it's blowing my mind how these things are categorized for evidence. You know, there's another interview. VHS number 13. There's the property number 2. The other one had number 1. There's the number again with the number 2051069. Same thing. Matches 128714. So these numbers are beneficial in keeping the evidence categorized. And I'm sure this is how other cases do their stuff because, pretty much the FBI has protocol that they have to do. And I might reach out to Jennifer and see if she'd be willing to kind of come on the panel with me and see if we could talk about this case. And this is just another federal grand jury subpoena addressed to the Bear Stearns Companies Incorporated. And I heard that name earlier. Bear Stearns is it's the father company of Victoria's Secret and the Unlimited clothing line. So this is the individual who made Epstein supposedly rich because he was working as the financial advisor for this company and he was making a lot of money behind the scenes. So that's probably why this subpoena was put out. Jeffrey Epstein, 4/5/2005 to 4/5/2005. It tells you from 8:33 a.m. There's a message. Can't really read a lot of it because it is redacted. And this says, via email, I now only need an apartment for the night of May 11th. Is that okay? Blank called me last night and she was very sick over the weekend and got an IV drip, but she would love to try to see you, not this weekend, but perhaps the next. Small dump truck for LSD, would like to look into purchasing a used dump truck. He is currently renting one at a rate of $450 per day as needed, and he is anticipating frequent usage going forward. At 9:24 a.m., sent note to so-and-so, are you in town this Thursday? I mean, this is interesting to say the least because we've seen messages like this through text messages of other people. And this has the timestamp and it has the message. It says, reply, does she have any new friends you can meet? I was away over the weekend, so I have not spoken to anyone new. But blank will be around later today, and I know she really wants to work. The others should be back around Thursday. Let me know about. From Hyper and Partners, I have an investment idea for you. Are you coming back to New York today? Sorry about that. Please call me again. Via email, I just heard from Mr. Blank, the pool guy. He's in Jamaica at the moment and will be returning to Miami on Thursday morning. So would be able to meet Jeffrey on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday this week. Alternatively, we could meet next week on Tuesday or Wednesday, or any of them dates suitable. Blank told me that by the end of this week, they would hopefully know the date and amount of the distribution from the sale of FTC's interest in Nestor 2000. The goal is to make the distribution at the end of April. However, it was more likely that the distribution would be in mid-May. So these are just random messages that have been cataloged that were either sent or received by Mr. Epstein. I'm in New York today if you're here. I'm going to Sweden on the 18th. I would love to meet you, but prior to that, either this week or the following week. Possibly, we would like to meet as well. She is Blank's sister. In May, the new female economist of the year will be here. Maybe you would like to hold a BBB dinner on the 25th of May to welcome her and see the other girls. I then leave June 1st for Sweden again. So it seems like Mr. Epstein was going to Sweden quite a bit and vice versa. Sent note to Blank and copied Blank, Japanese Blank, $600,000. Nestor just $600,000. Now a total loss of $1.3 million. Let's discuss the blank conference call. P.S. I had not received a report on blank position for the past 6 weeks until yesterday. I've made an appointment for Squishy today at 4:10 p.m. at the PB Vet to get an ID chip put in him for traveling abroad. Is this okay? Returning your call. Please call blank, blank, blank. Please call. Is he coming to New York at all? I will be there the beginning of June. Go on her cell phone. Are you back? The letter of credit had some problems with the letter of credit being too broad and had been working with blank to go fix the issues. We expect to be done today, and then we send it to Melton Bank for their acceptance. Mellon is Karen modeled bank who will issue a line of credit secured by the LOC. I will push to get this done. Repayment of my loan. This is what I can do for this moment, and I hope it's okay. You know, blank said nothing. I can get you 1,000 next week, but then I won't be able to pay you again until probably 2006 when I get another bonus. I just can't afford to take any out of my paycheck. I hope that is 2006. I will be able to pay you $2,000 and so on. But basically, it's going to take me a few years to return the entire $6,000. So looks like somebody loaned $6,000 out. Our conference call tomorrow, I don't believe we will ever upcome with a time. I'm available for you whenever you like, but if I had my preference, I would be there 2 o'clock. I have a meeting at 2 o'clock, but I could reschedule. Just let me know. Was diagnosed with lung cancer. It had been announced today. Name reservations for Max Mira Films in Delaware, California, and New York all will expire shortly. Would you like to extend a reservation for all or any of these states? Call blank, 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 blank. Left message for blank regarding when we'll be able to send you another blank. Check. I need to speak to you. It's important. From Credit Susie First Boston. When could we meet to discuss Monday 18th or Tuesday the 19th with tentatively all the direct holding their schedules open? Please call. I'll call you at the end of April to set up the meeting. Please call. I'm working in the basement and my phone isn't working. Leave me a message. A $300 million fund, Capri Capital, Advisors of Chicago, originally had a partner, Charter Mac, part of related companies, and ERI Indemnity. The letter will be out for 3 months. Please call if you have questions. Regarding the Robin Hood benefit, the dinner will be held this year on May 25th. Table set sell out quickly, and we wanted to know if you would like to purchase a table this year. We will be faxing over the invitation. I will forward it over to you and PB. Okay, on wheels up to noon tomorrow. Did you mean blank? I'll have her call you at 9 p.m. tomorrow. I'll call you in 5 minutes. Regarding you can't attend Robin Hood. It's confirmed for 9 p.m. tomorrow. Could I pick up some money? I need a hotel room for tonight. I'll call back since I don't have a phone. Please call. I will see you on Thursday. If you want to meet the blank sisters specifically, I think it would be best to meet with them separately. From the possibility, if you're here Wednesday, you can meet with them after work. Please call. Just wanted to see if the girls had a good time at the magic show. I told him it was an amazing show. Please call. Calling again to see if I can pick up money. I called blank and got his voicemail. I asked if he'll call back tomorrow. From Last Stroke Company, I'm the realtor and I've dealt with Christine. I have a message on your cellular to call you. He is out of town. The Florida office phone is this at this time because I was told they're moving offices. Message to call blank regarding the wine. Please call. And then it goes down to a lot of note taking. Singular Wireless. I remember Singular back in the day. These were the cell messages, obviously, that were either text or voicemail. So these were a lot of notes that were taken about these messages. Look at that. A lot of phone numbers, a lot of addresses, a lot of people tied. Metro PCS, Bell South, wow. This is the Hyatt in New York. Receipt on Mega World Travel. Just building the case. Building the case, trying to find the missing pieces. The missing pieces to the eventual federal case, child prostitution, or as if it's called nowadays, trafficking. So it looks like this man was trafficking small children, boys and girls, and charging for these upper level people to do what they would and then film it. And probably selling it on the black market, I would guess. Wow. There is the home value, the income, high school education, bunch of cell phone numbers. So if you ever get one of these letters, I'm pretty certain it's not a good thing. Pretty certain. Subpoena requests. Building the case. Building the case. Dang, $951 bill for the Hyatt. Yeah, that's what I heard too earlier, PKC. And here's a warrant. from the Palm Beach Police Department. This is usually what a warrant looks like. This is a cover sheet. And then it goes down and itemizes the arrests. And fill all that out. And those have been blacked out, obviously. And here's some certified mail. Criminal investigation, date of the indictment, 7/1906. Wow. It says this request include copies of every document related to the above matter, regardless of the format in which the information was stored or whether it is currently in their possession or in storage. If you refuse to provide this information, Chapter 119 of the Florida statute requires you to advise me in writing and indicate the applicable exemption to the Public Records Act. Also, please state particularly the reasons for your decision are required by Section 119.07. If the exemptions you're claiming only apply to a portion of the records, please delete that portion and provide photocopies of the remainder of the records. According to Section 119.07, I reserve the right to appeal your decision to withhold any information. So that is a request. And this is the property receipt of what was taken. Phone message book. File folder. Shredded paper. You know, that's interesting that I saw that in a movie one time, but they really do that. Any shredded paper machine that they find or whatever, they literally piece together the shredded pieces of paper if they're looking for some kind of paper trail. Look at this massage table with foam chairs. Another massage table. Front of photo. Pictures in frame from Yellow Blue Room. Photos from office. Photos from this redacted. Photos inside on the right. So we've seen stuff like this in other cases that we've had the evidence shown to us like this. And this is basically the receipts of what I've shown you so far. This is message book, it's CDs, DVDs, photos, soap on a rope, twin torpedo, which basically were those massage toys. Soap on a rope, large frame picture. This is all the stuff that they got out of the house or out of his office. A lot of stuff. And you have to itemize it, which a lot of people don't understand that. See how it's numbered? It starts at number 1 and it goes all the way down. Because it's itemized. You give it a number and this goes to this. This is the person that gathered the evidence. Who the person evidence is, Epstein, his address, the date it was recovered, and where the property was impounded at. So they have a bunch of stuff here. Bunch of stuff. And I'm sure we're going to see the pictures because just like any other investigation, naked girl. Green photo frame with a naked girl. Number, that's one thing about cops. I can never read their damn writing. 56, 57, 58, 59, the 59. So these are probably, and this is kind of like the preliminary probable cause. Let's read it. And then I'm going to close out for tonight because I'm going to be doing a lot of shows on this because I'm curious now. It said the following investigation was conducted by Special Agent blank on 8/27/07 at approximately 8:26 a.m. This writer received a telephone call from Special Agent blank. Special Agent blank advised she had just been notified that Jeffrey Epstein private plane bearing tail number N609JE was due to take off from St. Thomas Airport, Cyril E. King Airport within the next 5 minutes. This writer advised Special Agent blank he would make some phone calls to see if he could have the flight delayed while he responded to the airport. At approximately 8:27 a.m., this writer then contacted redacted Federal Security Director, U.S. Department of Homeland Security, United States Virgin Islands. This writer asked if there was any way to delay a flight from taking off due to the possibility of the flight bearing targets of interest in a criminal investigation. They advised that the only way he could delay a flight if there was a threat to the safety of the flight. This writer informed Duffy this case did not meet that criteria, then provided this writer within the phone number to air traffic control. This writer then contacted air traffic control blank 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 and spoke with the name used by the individual working at the tower. I identified myself to him and asked him the status of the flight for redacted. They advised the plane had filed a flight plan that showed estimated departure as being 4 minutes prior to our conversation. Blank advised the plane was still processing through customs at this time. I asked Blank if he had the capability of delaying the flight due to the plane possibly transporting targets of interest in a criminal investigation. He advised he could delay the flight a few minutes by informing the pilot of our approach, should the pilot request permission to take off prior to the arrival. This writer then departed for Cyril E. King Airport. While en route to the airport, this writer contacted Special Staff T. FBI St. Thomas and requested she contact United States Customs and Border Patrol and inform them of my impending arrival. This writer then contacted SA and informed her of the departure of the airport. At approximately 8:44 a.m., this writer received a telephone call from blank Supervisor CBT. This writer told there were possibly 2 female targets getting ready to take off on the aforementioned plane. They told this writer to meet him at the cargo entrance of the airport. Upon arriving at the airport's cargo entrance, this writer was met by blank and 2 of his co-workers. This writer followed blank to the aforementioned plane, which was parked in a waiting area with the engines off. This writer showed blank and his co-workers a picture of the 2 female targets and explained the purpose was to serve the 2 females with target letters. He stepped away and went to speak with the pilot of the aircraft. This conversation between the pilot and the other individual occurred out of the writer's range of hearing. They returned and advised the pilot informed him that Epstein was the only passenger scheduled on this flight. They would inform me he was asked to accompany him. They advised that they had legal authority to board any aircraft going to the United States. I boarded the plane along with this person and the other two CBT personnel. We walked the length of the plane and ascertained there was no one on board. We then disembarked the plane, had one of its personnel go into the airport and ensure the female targets were not personnel. His personnel go into the airport to ensure the female targets were not present inside the terminal. The CBT officer returned and advised Epstein was alone and was still processing through customs. At approximately 8:55 a.m., this rider contacted Blank at ATC. This rider told Blank the plane had been checked. Advised he did not have to delay the plane or take any action to delay the flight if the pilot never requested permission to take off. At approximately 8:59 a.m., this rider contacted Special Agent so-and-so and informed her Epstein was traveling alone. Special Agent advised she had just obtained that information from another source. All times referenced in this insert was taken from this rider's cellular telephone and call history. So there's the cellular and call history. And there are the initials. Note that they took. Seminole. Walk sent. Epstein appear. I tell you can never read police writing. You can't. And there is the agreed order correcting the error that was obviously put into the documents. And that is number 97. So I'm going to stop right there. So that is some interesting stuff right there. And even though I don't know the case, you can almost sense through the investigative process, through the pictures and through the writing and through the receipts and through the arrest warrant, the surveillance and stuff. It goes right hand in hand almost with the Idaho 4 case. Because basically what we read and what we saw in the photos and the text messages and everything that was released in the documents is almost verbatim to this protocol. So if you're watching this on replay, I will be continuing to do this series probably during the Christmas holidays because I have nothing else to do and I'm on call. So it will give me not only good practice, but it also will give individuals who want to see these photos and want to walk through this case with the photos of evidence and the documents with me, you're more than welcome to. But thank you so much. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already to the channel. It is free. And once again, I'm building up my chat because it was flowing pretty good at one point. But we will get there again. I guarantee it. It is nothing more than just a pause for the cause. That's all it is. A pause for the cause. So if you enjoy the presentation, like I said, please hit the like button and subscribe. And I will see you soon. There is a short that I put a little while ago that does give more detailed photos on his airplane that was put out by Daily News. So go check it out on my page. Let me know what you think. Once again, my name is 12 Gauge, and this is my channel, 12 Gauge Investigative. I hope to see you again on the second part as we travel down this Epstein trail of pictures and evidence, and eventually that led to a conviction. Thank you so much. Thank you, PKC, for being here. I will see you soon. Maestro, cue that music.